Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Besides the legal fights, the conference is also about education versus indoctrination. So most specifically, it is about fighting against a cultural war in which the other side attacks merit, excellence, and the quality of education. So I understand that taking a full day out of your busy schedule means you do care about education, care about the next generation, and care about our country. So please give yourself another round of applause. Thank you. So first of all, let me try to lay out several facts about public education in its current state. So the 2023 NAEP long-term trend in reading and math average scores for 13-year-old students now is at the lowest in decades, sliding back to levels in the 1970s. The 2022 Smarter Balance Test results show that only 33% of California students are proficient in math and 47% of them are proficient in English. California used to be a top-tier state on K-12 education back in 1970s. Now it only ranks 38th in the nation and has one of the lowest adult literacy rates. And on top of the abysmal academic performance, California families, parents, and students have nowhere to escape from this cultural war. Even private schoolers and homeschoolers are not insulated from critical race theory or transgenderism. We have nowhere to escape. So our problems are more than just a disservice to our students. We are in a cultural war, and that's waged by the radical left. On the surface, it may seem like just a battle between the fad of diversity, equity, and inclusion versus equality and merit. The other side is trying to forcibly enforce equal outcomes through public actions by lowering standards and propagating harmful ideologies. And we are advocating for equal opportunity, equal protection, and merit. But the cultural war is more complicated. To cover up decades of failures in sufficiently educating American children, the woke industrial complex players pretend they, and only they, hold the ultimate truth. So they label any critics or dissidents as white supremacists, Christian nationalists, racists, or transphobes, etc. So their shady tactics, lies, and character assassination have effectively intimidated and silenced too many people, including teachers and students. The degree to which cancel culture is practiced in our public life has reached the level of grave concern that our freedom of speech is being compromised, academic integrity eroded, and social cohesion broken down. So to be clear, their lies cannot stand the test of sound data, facts, or logical reasoning. So vague words like feeling, hurt, and safe space are frequently cited to defend the indefensible. So that this touchy-feely, everything goes, group grievance-based ideology is not just hurting our students' academic performance, it's also damaging to their character development. It creates a victimhood mindset and devalues the virtue of personal empowerment, hard work, and accountability. Our civilization would collapse if we were to allow this toxic, divisive ideology to take over our society. And if we were to allow these ideologues to weaponize the education system to pump out generations of student activists. And the danger is real. So who is to blame for the declines in our education system? And who is behind the cultural war? So our answer is the teachers' union. Since we will have 2 sections to tackle this topic, I want to elaborate further at this moment. So please keep in mind that teachers' unions have the money, the volunteers, the know-how, and the experience to help elect their own boss, school board trustees, and to protect bad teachers, which drives great teachers away. So they are the problem. And during the fights, we have observed 3 typical failure patterns when parents and community members fight against teachers' unions. So first scenario, some parents want to fight, but prefer fight anonymously. It means no credibility and no player in the chessboard. And second scenario, a lone parent is brave enough to confront a school district. It would take a couple of years or longer for them to fight alone against the giant teachers union and the establishment with little to no support. And then the kid graduates or gets transferred. The fight dies down with no knowledge transfer or sharing. So that's the second. And the third scenario is several parents or community members work very hard and get elected as school district board trustees to advocate for parental rights. However, since most other parents are not well organized, the new trustees have to fight the teachers union all by themselves with very minimal support. They may be harassed or sued by the teachers union. And even if they have majority, the teachers union may organize strikes to protest. And they could easily give up the fight or lose their re-election campaign. So that's what we will observe. So what we can do about this invasive cultural war. So here is our proposal. So today is a brainstorming. So feel free to let us know if you agree or not. So our proposal is to build our own parent community organizations in every single school district to expose, counter, and challenge teachers' unions. And the following is the analysis. So in a school district, board trustees are the kings since they make all district policies, decide on curriculums, and determine how the school district spends its precious tax dollars. And in most school districts, trustees backed by teachers' unions have the majority. And teachers' unions are the queen. They have the money, the volunteers, the know-how, and the experience of the school district. So they can play some long-term strategic moves. So one small example, in San Diego Union High School District, the local teachers union asked the board back in 2014 to increase teachers' wage by lowering their health benefits. And the board had no problem to approve it. And 9 years later, the teachers union complained that their teachers had the lowest health benefits in town, of course, and asked the new board to increase the benefits. And the board had no choice but to approve it again. So with such tacky moves, the teachers union were able to increase the members' financial compensation significantly and with no performance needed for their teaching. So that's why I think the teachers union is a very powerful player, like the queen piece on a chessboard. And national groups like the ADL, the ACLU, are the knight or bishop pieces here, which provide ideological programs and trainings to the school district. And local organizations like some PTAs, they are already radicalized and are powerful root pieces, lending authenticity and a legitimacy to union maneuvers. When something happens, these local players can be interviewed by media and boosting the credibility of the union's agenda. And now look at our side here. We do have the majority of the people. In 2020, 57.2% of California voters voted no on race-based affirmative action. However, the majority are decentralized and not yet well organized. And we now do have a lot of think tank organizations. We have a lot here in this room. including CFER. However, most of their ideas and knowledges have not been conveyed to local parents yet. And we do have well-organized and influential local organizations like the churches, synagogues, temples, Chamber of Commerce. And these groups support high-quality education and have the potential to be our natural allies. However, they are often not yet motivated to join this fight. And growing our coalition takes time and efforts. So the key piece we are missing is our queen piece over here. So we, every one of you and me, need to build our own queen organizations in every single school district to alter this lone wolf failure pattern and provide economies of scale. So these queen organizations should have the money, the volunteers, the know-how, and the experience of the school district. So this is how it looks like. So this queen organization should be instrumental in the fight against the anti-education cultural and political establishment represented by the teachers' unions. And you feel the calling to protect our kids and safeguard our country. And I believe many other people in your school district have that calling too. So setting up a queen organization will be a key step to gather all these motivated people and build a pool of volunteers. And these motivated pawns are ready to serve, to lead, and promote themselves to be a rook or the queen. And when you start your organization, you can also gain trust and support from many statewide and nationwide organizations, who I here call night organizations. But do not expect the night organizations to provide you volunteers or funds. You have to do the real work to secure your own funding and your own volunteers. Sounds a little harsh, right? You have to do everything by yourself. But doesn't this define perseverance, initiative, and self-independence? All founding values we want to promote to our next generations. So we don't look upon any higher authority or outside groups to bankroll our own work. We make ways to advance the values we believe in. And this is democracy at work. So with your own persistence, you will be able to expand your knowledge about the school district. You can pinpoint the data and facts relevant to your school district and sunshine them to your local audience. It's not just about California ranking 38th on K-12 education in the nation. It is about how much your school district spends per student and how it is spent. It is about math and reading proficiency rates in your school district. It is about the curriculums and textbooks in your school district. And it is about how much time your kids are instructed in basics like reading, writing, math, and sports. And it is about teacher performance in your school district and how parents like you can advocate for your kids' education on a daily basis. So during the process, you will be able to engage in developing your servant leadership skills. In the near future, you may be able to ready to run for your school board, which is the king piece. After gaining trust from parents and the local community, guess what? Other local groups like churches, synagogues, temples, and local Chamber of Commerce will be activated as well. Whenever something happens, their members can pitch in and help. Carlsbad has already set a great example for us. So left-leaning journalists tend to avoid or minimize covering the work of night organizations like CFER by claiming that we are not local, even though they have no problem, the media have no problem interviewing NAACP, ACLU, or ADL representatives. but there is no justification for the media to bypass you. If your Queen organization is based locally and is growing a track record, they have to feature you or your team members unless they discard all ethical standards of independent journalism and they are willing to lose credibility. And your existence will help spread the truth. Finally, it will be much easier for you to access local businesses and the donors to obtain financial support after you have been fighting in the community for a while and have gained the trust. Those funds will help you run this Queen organization so that you can hire a full-time or part-time director to work for this cause professionally. So before you have a part-time employee, your organization may just be a rook, but with a part-time employee, you will be able to call yourself a Queen organization. And what's the difference? So one question, does your church, if you have a church, pay your pastor's salary? Of course, most pastors are paid. And at the same time, the churches need a lot of unpaid co-workers or volunteers to help in children's ministry, worship ministry, and so on. But a full-time pastor will help lead the church consistently towards its spiritual mission. And also the pastor is a go-to person whenever a church member needs some spiritual guidance. And that's exactly why a Queen organization needs a paid employee to counter the other side's Queen and be always available to parents, students, teachers, and community members. You know that teachers' unions have paid employees, right? So we cannot wish for a determined victory by fighting their professionals with pure volunteers, no matter how motivated and well-intentioned we are. I know the fundraising part is the most difficult part and may scare you away, but we have no better choices. So choose a name of your Queen organization that shows its local connections, and that will make your donors feel their contributions will make a real impact in your community. So imagine if we have this Queen organization in place, we will change the game. We will be able to knit a web of support to each other. And there is no single point of failure in the fight so that we can keep the fight going on and on. And whenever the elected independent trustees need support, the Queen organization will play a vital role to organize and win. And the Queen organization could collect the most up-to-date facts and data that will also help the other national or statewide organizations to further improve their programs and trainings. So does this make sense to you?
Makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. But I understand it's very hard. Consider you have to invest so much into this Queen organization. It includes your precious time, your knowledge and experience, your money, and most importantly, your humility. Yet, you may suffer damages to your reputation and career. And a lot of the time, your work may be thankless. And oftentimes, it may even seem hopeless. So why would you choose to do that? And where is our hope? So I think our hope is truth will prevail. The other side has a house of cards built on lies and deception. So which turns into indoctrination when it comes to education. Nobody wants to be lied to. So if you can present all the data and the facts to parents and the community members, they will understand that truth will prevail. Yes, we do have the majority, and parents need quality education for their kids. And societies need productive people with good character and competency. So I will not elaborate all these lies. They they typically spread. I just one. So they say students need teachers who look like them in order to do well in school. I call this racial pairing. And this is a textbook definition of racism. I did a survey in my church Sunday school for the kids, ask them, what kind of teachers you like? And they say, humor, is caring, who listens, who is fair and responsible, and all individual characters, nothing about their race. So these are all the lies. And for example, the last one, all mail-in ballots will increase voter turnout. That's a lie, right? So the data is in 2018, before the all mail-in ballots, the voter turnout in California is 64%. And in 2022, it declines to 51%. So they should call themselves supporters of voter suppression. Yeah. So I hope you have the faith that truth will prevail, and you are hopeful that truth will help people detect lies, and you love the country enough so that you're willing to take actions to find out the truth and spread the truth, even though you will be challenged, questioned, and even defamed. So do you have the courage to fight, especially now that you know that you have nowhere to escape? We have nowhere to escape. So we call on servant leaders to step up and start your local organizations today. And yeah, so if you decide to start today or later, feel free to contact us, and we are here to help. And thank you. That concludes my presentation today. Any question? Yes, Will.
So go back to your slide that says truth will prevail. I think you should put a colon after they lie. You should change it slightly. They lie, colon, and then you have your 1 through 6, and then you put at the bottom, but we tell the truth.
Okay.
It would make much better sense, truly.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Chris?
This is like the latest email you sent out where.
Closer to your mouth.
Oh, thank you. This is the latest CFER email that went out with, just heartbreaking story of the state government Goliath crushing the 2 school districts that are trying to do very minimal things. Can't all of this be nullified if the state government comes in and brings all of its power, including the purse string, and crushes these grassroots efforts? And what are your thoughts on that? Or will that be discussed later today?
Yeah, so the question is, right now, the state level powers, they're crashing into local controls. And I would say that this is still a cultural war, right? So they think they have the majority. They believe that, so they think they can do this. And what they do is that what they did is the opposition of democracy, of local control. So if more local parents and communities, they step up, and they will know where the majority is. And that's the only way, because any single school trustee or any single organization cannot fight successfully, only if we have a group of people. So that's a cultural war. We need every single one of us to step up. Yep. One last question, Marcy.
There's my. One of the things that I found, I go to a lot of school board meetings, especially the contentious ones. And if you're trying to grab a group of people, go to your school board meeting and be attracted and get the names and numbers of the people that are speaking up. Those are the ones you want to include in your group. Frank did an excellent presentation, and the lone wolf doesn't get very far, but the group of people have a lot more clout. And some of the best school board meetings I've been to, the most effective ones that are on our side, I'm seeing a lot of the churches going from the pews to the podium. So go to your churches and gather those people, bring them to your school board. They're extremely powerful and effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy.